just give folks a second to join us. Of course it's crooked. All right, much better. Hey guys, it's Cara from Enchanted Vines. I'm coming to you from my Wreath workshop here in New Hampshire, and we're gonna be unboxing our latest set from TCT Crafts. So Melissa, the owner of TCT Crafts, she always curates just the most amazing box of materials. So whether it's gonna be for a wreath or an arrangement, like everything's always tied in so perfectly. So I have my wreath ready because I have faith. I know whatever's in the box is going to make a beautiful wreath for us tonight. So while our glue pot is heating up, we're gonna unbox and see what Melissa sent us. Let's just see, she always has a theme. So this is Cozy Fall Vibes. It includes rich orange and deep burgundy florals, autumn maple leaves, dark greenery, perfect for creating a lush wreath, a full lush wreath, or a warm seasonal arrangement. So, okay. Those colors are my jam, so I'm very excited to see what Miss Melissa has sent us. All about the presentation. She's so good. All right. So we're going to start off with some maple leaves, and I'll end up putting all the SKU numbers in the comment section at the end. So if you do see something that you're interested in, you can use promo code CARA15 and you save 15%. All right. So we have our maple leaves, which these are a staple, especially when doing workshops. These are a great like back cover for your wreath. It gives you like the pop of orange that you're looking for this time of year. So I'm loving this. There's a lot on this bush. Let me see. Yeah, and I'll put up the SKUs like I said. So yeah, this is one bush. So we have 2 bushes of our maple leaves. Then we have, oh, I love the color of this. It's like legit the color of my shirt. This is very interesting. Let me see. This is a Fishtail Fern. Realistic greenery. And let's see. It is a pusher. But look at this color. It's like very rich. It's like, it is from the yellow base family, but it's not that super like vibrant. I'm definitely feeling this. I've never seen a greenery this color before. I don't know if you guys have or if it's coming through. It almost, even though it's plastic, it almost has like enough richness that it looks like it's like velvet or something. It's beautiful. All right. Next up, we have, ooh. All right, this is a beautiful bouquet. It has, are we gonna say peonies or cabbage roses? Let's see. So this is a flame orange artificial cabbage rose bush. Okay, and this has a lot on it, especially if somebody is newer to designing and you're not really sure about pairing, or you don't want to go like crazy buying all sorts of inventory when you're not sure what's going to go with what, when you can find a mixed floral bush like this, it has different colored florals. It has, so this has some little hydrangea on it. This has some eucalyptus on it. So it's kind of doing the work for you. It's taking like some of those questions away and just giving you the palette to make a beautiful design. Oh, I love this. I always love when it has like a little bit of eucalyptus, because it's just like that. It's, again, it saves you from buying like extra like bushes of things. All right. Oh, these are gorgeous. Okay, so these are individual peony stems. These would be perfect for an arrangement. I've been doing so many arrangements lately. I want to do a wreath tonight, but I will say that these deserve to be in an arrangement. I might even put them aside. I don't know. But if you can just see how like beautiful they are. 3 of those. Ooh, I don't know what these are called, but I have been eyeing these for a while. They're like some type of like pod. Let me see. These are called Roselle sprays. Never seen anything like it. And it's like the perfect marriage of like kind of like the plum and the burgundy, the maroon. So it's going to give us a nice add of like texture and also the color. Okay, so we have a couple of those. And I see we have another one of these greenery bushes. Not mad about that at all. All right, so that. And then we have, let's see. All right, now we have 3 of these, I guess we'd say Burgundy Satin Peonies, okay, 29 inches. All right, and again, these are just absolutely stunning. So these would do, like you could just throw these in a vase and just call it a day. But if you're somebody who designs to sell, your customers would be oh so happy with the quality of them. All right, and then last but not least, for florals, we have these other, I think they're going to be rustic, Burgundy Cabbage Rose Spray. All right, so we have 2 of those. And then we have some ribbon. We all love our ribbon. All right, so, well, she's spoiling me. Okay, we have some Farrisilk. So this is very, like, vintage to me. You know how, like, the chinoiserie, it's like, it's a classic. It's never going to go out of style. That's how this strikes me. You know, I can just see this in somebody's home, like, almost like wallpaper or, you know, on their, like, couch or something. It's stunning, and it's a classic that's not going to go out of style. And then it also has this linen backing. So instead of maybe dovetailing, you know, oftentimes when I have a ribbon that has such a nice backing, I do just fold it like this so that people can see that both sides are like very, very great, very high quality. All right, and then, so that's 2.5 inch wired. And then, I'm guessing this is an inch. This is, okay, 1.5 inch wired, and it's kind of like a rust orange. All right, so Melissa has given us a lot to work with. So thank you, Melissa. And let's see, I enjoy working on the fly. Kind of gives you a little creative workout. So that's what we're gonna do today. Let me clear this out. I have some extra foliage there if I need it. Don't think I'm going to. But let's start off. Oh, I love all of this. Okay. I actually made something somewhat similar to this earlier today for someone who lives in the desert. She had ordered a spring wreath, but then when she asked for some things to get swapped out, I was like, I think I just want to start over with the design she had in mind just to meet her needs. And so that was really fun. So we were going back and forth about who's got like more animals, which clearly she does. She has like bobcats, and I think she said there was like a giant cougar. A lot of wildlife. And it's just funny because I was sharing with her that ginormous hawk, I don't know why that just blanked out. This ginormous hawk was like on the roof of my house. And so when I came out, I think it was like a mama hawk like looking for food for her babies. So she flew off, but she kind of like swooped down and flew off. And I did not know what the heck was going on. So when I watched it back on my Ring, I was like swearing. I was like, Jesus, what is that? So my poor neighbors, I think they're a bit desensitized at this point to my shenanigans, but yeah, it was something. I shared the video with her, and actually I think I'm gonna do like a reel with it. So I'm using an 18-inch grapevine, and I'm just gonna clean this off. You know, this is like personal preference. You know, if you like to have all of like the wild, like, you know, strands of branches, that's totally fine. You always want to make something that resonates with you. It's not, there's no hard, fast rules to these things. If there were, then that would just pretty much like eliminate the ability to be creative, because then we'd just be following someone else's rules. So you make up your own rules about, you know, if you have different greenery families and what goes with what, you know, and push the envelope where it feels right for you. When it comes to designing, like I love me some moody florals. So I love things that are also very soft and monochromatic, but then also I like things that are like dark. And so when it comes to anything Halloween, I'm just a baby. I don't like to be scared. I don't make scary like wreaths. I'm just a baby. So I like to do spooky chic, which involves a lot of like really deep like purples and blues. And then I always like to kind of contrast them against something maybe like hot pink. All right, so I prepped my wreath. All right, and let's see. We're gonna do a crescent wreath. So I just wanna make sure like the best side is showing. And I think that's gonna be this side. So I'm just gonna take, this is my grapevine wire. I'm just gonna take it, I'm gonna slide it right under. And I'm just twisting the ends off. So we're just making a loop. This kind of is an indicator of where our customer might want to hang their wreath. Obviously, they're going to hang it however they see fit, but a nice little marker in case they want to just take it out of the box and put it right up. And then I also like it because it's a bit of like a North Star when we're designing. I like to mark it with a ribbon just because it does its job so well and it disappears so quickly. So we're going to mark it. And I'm thinking, before really getting started with our florals, I think I should make the bow. I would like to make a good sized bow with this. I pulled the head off one of them. I'm going to fix it. I did get an email the other day, or not an email, a question about, you know, when you're using an easy bow maker, what happens if, you know, when you take it off the dowels, you kind of can't control having the zip tie or the chenille stem, like you just, you know, you lose control of it and maybe you don't have time to put it back in between the dowels to kind of save it. So what you can do is you can put your zip tie or chenille stem down first. It's not going to be aligned perfectly, but then we can just kind of like loosely connect this so that it's at least got like something holding it together. All right, so we're going to start with this, the 2.5 inch Farrisilk underneath. It's going to be our first layer. All right, and I'm going to make the tails about like, maybe like 12 inches, okay? So when you're doing a set of tails, all you're doing is you're just running it from one side of the dowel to the other. Okay, and oh, sorry. I was using that dry foam today and that gets in the air. All right, so when you're making your first set of tails, all you're doing is you're just making one cut of the ribbon and just splitting it in half, okay? And you wanna make sure that the pretty side of the ribbon is facing up. All right, and now I'm going to go back in with our second tail. So I'm gonna make it a little shorter than the first one. Okay, and as I'm putting it through the dowels, what I'm doing is I'm gonna twist it so that the front side, this part of our ribbon, is facing down on our Easy Bow Maker. Okay, and every time we're doing this, the pretty side of the ribbon, when it comes to putting it down on the Easy Bow Maker, should be facing down. All right, so I'm gonna make my first loop 5 inches. And what I like to do with my first loop is so the Easy Bow Maker, it has all the measurements right here. I like to just kind of pat it down flat, just so I know that I got the measuring right. If it's all like fluffed up, and then this side isn't as fluffed up, then my measuring might be wrong. So when I'm sliding it through the dowels, I'm twisting it. So again, pretty side facing down. I'm gonna measure my 5 inches. I'm gonna slide it right back through the dowel. I'm gonna repeat this a few times. So we're gonna make, let's see, we'll do 6. Maybe we'll do more. This is a beautiful ribbon. Farrisilk is like one of the top dogs when it comes to high quality, like luxury ribbon. This is a treat, Melissa. Thank you. So if you're watching, do you use a bow maker? So I know some people love to do the hand tied, and I totally wish I could. I used to, but I have such a hard time, like with my grip at some point, it just kind of gets like arthritic. And so what I like about this is that I can let it go and I'm not holding it like tensely the whole time. And it's not like aggravating or like tiring out like my hands or my wrists. Okay, so this is our first layer. Now we're gonna go in with our 1.5 inch orange. Okay, I'm gonna just make a set of tails to start again. So it's gonna be close to 12 inches. And then we're gonna start our bow. I am going to make some 4-inch loops. I'm gonna find my 4-inch marker on the Easy Bow Maker. And just give it a little press to make sure I have my measuring accurate. Which I do. So I'm gonna make 4 of these 4-inch loops. So this is like an impromptu live. I've made the mistake before that if I don't show like our design with the boxes from TCT Crafts soon enough, then things are sold out. I learned that the hard way for the Patriotic box. It had like really, really nice red peonies and then like navy blue peonies, and they were great price. They were similar to like the ones that everyone loves on Amazon, but they were better quality and they didn't cost as much. So like they were like a major steal. I think they were like not even $10 each. And then with the coupon, it would be like $8.50 each. And I did not realize, and I slept on it. And by the time I went to order some, they were gone. So I am wanting to make sure I get these products out and show everybody how beautiful they are before they are sold out. Because once they're gone, they're gone. You know how it is with how all the trade is going right now. Like they're not making extra trips to get inventory. So what companies have, that is what they have for the season. Although I know that Melissa from TCT Crafts just got in like several pallets this week. So she's also got a whole like other line of things that are coming up. But as far as what's in her shop right now, if it does sell out, then it's going to be sold out for this season, I would believe. I mean, I don't want to speak for Melissa. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of spread these loops out before taking this off of our Easy Bow Maker. You know what, actually, I'm gonna do one more set of loops. 3 inches. Working on the fly. You know, if something just doesn't seem right, it's good to just kind of stop and correct it in the moment instead of like building upon it, and then you have to undo a whole lot of stuff. All right, and then I'm gonna make what we call like the button, which is just kind of like that middle piece of a bow. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna just slide this through the dowel. You just kind of guess. I mean, for me, I just guess. So it's gonna be probably about like 2.5, 3 inches. All right, and then again, for somebody who had asked about what to do if you usually like lose control of your loops when you're taking it off the dowel, I've already laid down my zip tie. I laid it down backwards, that's not helpful. So one thing that you can do is, get this lined up right, because we want to make sure the zip tie is going through the halfway mark, like right where the dowels are. So what you can do is you can just loosely connect this. Okay, we're still going to need to pick it up, you know, and have like a good grip on it in the center. But if you are somebody who you find that you're like frequently just like letting all the loops go and then you need to start over, then this is at least a little bit of a safety net. All right, so I'm going to be pulling this off the dowels, and I'm just holding it with my pointer finger and my thumb. Okay, I did already have that zip tie ready to go. So I'm going to tie this zip tie as tight as I can. Okay, and now before I fluff my loops, I'm always tempted to fluff them, but we're gonna finish off our tails. So like I said before, when you have something, when you have a high quality ribbon that has 2 sides like this, instead of dovetailing, I usually like to just fold it up the way it is. So what I do is I'm just gonna fold over a very small amount of it, okay, just so I have like a nice clean edge, and then I'm gonna roll it so it's about 1 inch, okay. And if you're somebody who's selling too, I mean, you want to include in your description that you're using, you know, whether it's Farrisilk ribbon or, you know, D. Stevens, whatever it is. Not everybody's going to recognize that those names are luxury, but those that do, like, it's like if you know, you know. So, you know, they will match the price that it is reflected when you're using luxury ribbon. All right, so I'm just finishing off these 4 tails. And then for the smaller ribbon, I like to just cut it diagonal. When it's 2.5 inch, I like to dovetail. For some reason, I have like different rules. So I'm just gonna cut these all diagonal. And I don't know if I have anybody watching that they're also, you know, wreath makers, but we've been getting ready for, well, last week we were doing TMI Gifts Christmas in July, which was so fun. And if you missed it, you can still go back on Facebook. It's a free private group, and you can watch, I want to say, maybe there were like 8 to 10 designers, and there were things from like Christmas trees, grapevine wreaths, mesh wreaths, swags. There were some really beautiful swags, some really nice bows, really nice ribbon was used. So yes, if you happen to miss it, you can go back and just ask to join the group. Again, it's free. It's on Facebook. It's on my Facebook page if you can't find TMI Gifts. So mine is enchantedvines.com. And then I'm an admin, so if I see your request, I will let you in. All right, so here is our bow. What do we think? Hello, Miss Renee. Let's see. Was this the greenery that I said was like my shirt? Because that is called Flocked Artificial Fishtail Fern. Okay, but it's not like flocked, like winter flocked. And I guess that makes sense because I was saying like it kind of looked like velvety to me because the hues of it are just so rich. And I feel like for fall, you know, it's a lot of like richness with when we're talking about color and texture, and you know, like I like to use a lot of like artificial fruits and vegetables. Like it's just, there's a lot that goes into it. So I get really bummed when people are skipping fall to go right to Halloween. I know people love their Halloween, but like there is something so special about fall. And so, you know, and Thanksgiving, like, you know, we kind of like jump from one thing to the next, and Thanksgiving is just like a special time to kind of chill with your family and catch up. So I'm hoping people don't skip too much of fall this year. I know it's kind of a pain to put up your like Halloween decor and then maybe take it down temporarily. Like I get all that. But I also just love the season so much. Like fall and spring are by far my favorites because there's just so much transformation. Yes, Fishtail, yes. Hey Verlene, how are you? This was like a very impromptu thing. It's like most things I do. All right, so I'm just gonna put this on a floral pick. And the reason why I like to put my bows on floral picks is because sometimes when we're working with all of these flowers, we find that the bow kind of gets lost in it. It's too crowded. So I like to just have it on a floral pick, and that way you've got, you know, a good couple inches of it like going off of the grapevine. Berlene, are you watching? Are you doing Wreath Makers Live virtually? Am I making that up? Am I just wishing? Is it wishful thinking? All right, now I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna fluff my loops. So this is why we use wired ribbon, okay? Because right now it's flat. And as we're working, it's gonna end up getting flattened again, but it just feels so good to fluff. So you're just kind of like putting your hands in each of the loops and just spreading it out. And this is like really, really nice quality ribbon. Like it's so thick. You're not. Well, I'll be thinking of you. I feel like there's just, this month suddenly like it just picked up steam, and Ashley and I are going to be presenting together at Wreath Makers Live. And so today we kind of like finalized as much as we could, like what we're going to be doing. And we had to ship all the supplies down. And I was like, oh my gosh, like pray for this package to arrive safely, because if anything, I don't even want to say it, it would just be very hard to source all of these things like in another state under like a time crunch. All right. Do you guys like this ribbon? I love it. It's giving me like my grandmother's house, but like in a good like nostalgic way. Not like when grandma had like the plastic coverings over all the furniture, which mine never did, but I do understand too. I've been to plenty of homes when I was younger that all the furniture was covered in plastic. So it was safe, but it was squeaky. All right, yeah, I'm glad I made a couple extra loops here. All right, so here is our bow. We're gonna end up having it kind of in the middle here. We're gonna do a crescent bow, but what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna lay out some of the greenery, because like sometimes I'm just very messy with the glue and the glue gets on the ribbon. And it's not that you can't usually let it dry and like then peel it off, but sometimes you can't. And if I can avoid damaging it, I'd rather. So I'm just gonna be designing knowing that the center part here and going down because of the tails is going to have the ribbon in place. All right, so I'm gonna start off with our maple leaves. These are gonna pair really well. So Renee, you're familiar with this? You've seen this before? This is definitely new to me, but I really, really like it. I don't have the pricing on the sheet. I have the SKUs, but I'm definitely going to be looking for more of that. All right, so to start with our maple leaves, I'm just going to snip these all pretty much at the base. You know, like for other seasons, I like to use ficus. I know not everyone likes ficus. To each their own. I think it's a great like ground cover when you don't want to see the grapevine. You know, for this, we're going to be making a crescent wreath. So just like a crescent moon, this side's going to be exposed and this side's going to be covered. So for here, I don't want to be able to see any of the grapevine. Just this section here I want to be, you know, like exposed. Hey, Leslie, how are you? I know, this was very random. My day got away from me. Shocking, I know. But I've had this kit, this box of like materials from TCT Crafts since like last week. And I realized the hard way that if I hold on to them too long, things sell out. So that's what happened with the 4th of July stuff. They had a bunch of peonies in like the set, and when I went to get them, they were already sold out. So now I want to make sure that I'm like doing things like in a good time frame. All right, and all of this is very malleable. So let's start with the top corner and then go to the bottom. So I always like to mirror everything. Like I'm very OCD, but also it also makes it so that you are kind of making a balanced look. It's also helpful when you even use the identical stems so that it's really, really balanced. Really, really, really balanced. All right, we're gonna just turn this up. I'm gonna move this over a little bit because I do know that our bow is gonna be going here. And I just wanna make sure that I'm kind of bending out all of these stems. Okay, it's kind of like fluffing like we would do for a tree. If it's just flat, you know, it's not two-dimensional, but it kind of is, versus, you know, when you have it like three-dimensional and it's more lifelike, like it's, you know, kind of coming right at you. I did some weeding yesterday and it is coming right at me. We just had to replace our back fence for a commercial fence, partially because of Bruno, my baby shepherd, who's like Hercules. He just barked on cue. But also some of the damage was caused because the vines had grown so strong from the previous year that I think like some of them actually snapped. It was like regular chain link before. But yeah, I think some of that actually made some of the chains either snap or just like be compromised. So I was out there yesterday doing my best to try and like get them off the fence because they grew in like a week, I swear. It's just been very hot and then it's been humid and I think it's just been like great weather for things to grow. And that means that my weeds are growing quite a bit. And you can see with using this, so right now we're using 2 of the maple leaf bushes. Like there's a lot here. If I wanted to just loosely go around, I could. You know, I don't need to necessarily use all of this here. All right, and then let's see. So we have our peonies. I'm gonna love combining these colors. I do have the item numbers, and if there's anything specific and you want to ask me right now, I can read it off to you. Otherwise, when the video posts, I'll put it in the comments, but whatever makes it easier for you, like I have it right here. So again, like if you were, you know, looking for the Fern, just let me know. Like the Fern is 13626GN. That's 13626GN. I feel like I'm calling out like bingo or something. But yeah, let me know if I can just give it to you on the spot instead of like you having to wait until, like it might not be until tomorrow. Because again, these items are selling out and Melissa's getting new things in. And then of course with promo code Cara15, you save 15% off your entire order. I love these promo codes. I love ordering with these promo codes. All right, so let me put my bow in And I'm not going to glue it yet. I feel like there's a name for like the patterns that remind you of your grandmother's house, and I can't think of what it is, but there's definitely like it is an aesthetic. Like it's not blue and white, but it definitely gives me like the chinoiserie vibes of like just that classic decor. All right, so let's start off with I'm going to start off with our peonies, since we already have a lot of orange laid down. And these would do so well in an arrangement. They really would. I've just been like so carried away with doing arrangements lately. And like wreaths are so easy to store. I have like what I call the overflow room, which is like the room that like where all my sins hide for like messes. But my wreaths, they hang on like the steel grids on the ceiling. So I can store a lot of wreaths. It's hard for me to store a lot of floral arrangements. All right, so we're going to start off above our bow. And we're going to put our first large bloom in. And I like to work with the larger blooms first because then you can just backfill, whether it's with different types of greenery or, you know, filler florals, things like that. But you want these to have a prominent place. You don't want them kind of like hidden under the bow, which is why we're putting the bow in and why we're like working with these first. Okay, and again, mirrored. So, and when you're looking at like how flowers grow in nature, like not everything grows like straight up and down, you know, things tilt towards the sun. And so I do think it's like a nice touch when your florals aren't looking head on. It also photographs better. Sometimes when you have something that like the heads, like say, I was using Cosmos in the spring. If the heads and the stamen were all pointing like face forward, it looked kind of like eyes. Like it was very distracting. It needed to all be like bent in different directions, so you can actually appreciate the flower and not like get hung up on like their centers. Just gonna add a little bit to this now. Yes, I think we're going to be going live again this week. I want to do some tree toppers. I also want to just do some bows for, you know, if somebody wants to decorate their, you know, their corn stalks. I was thinking corn stalks would be a good one because we're probably all like going to be doing that. And you want something that's going to be like good quality material and it's going to be able to like stay outside with your corn stalks. But yeah, I want to work on some bows. If you are somebody who designs to sell, I mean, there can be a great profit margin with bows if you just kind of like shop the right items, you know, and don't overbuy, which last Christmas I was so guilty of it, and luckily like I kind of caught myself in time to be able to return things before it was too late. Hello, Michelle. Oh my gosh, yes. You're like a wordsmith. You are. And I don't know if you were here earlier, but last night I was photographing a custom wreath for somebody. And as soon as I hung it on the door, all of a sudden there was like just, you know, like energy. You know, it was like, shoo, this hawk. It was a big hawk. It must have been like right on the very tip of like my roof over my front door, because it kind of like swooshed down and like up, and I have a picture of it. I had to totally edit it because I was like swearing, like I was like, what the beep, Jesus, what's that? I was so confused. I love hawks. I was just so thrown off by it. I mean, like just some of our feathers fell in our doorway, like our entryway. I was so confused. And what she did was she went exactly back to a different house across the road from me and like sat on the peak again. So I think she's hunting for her nest. That's my theory, because she was squawking, and another neighbor said she was on their lawn yesterday, and I'm like, well, hawks aren't really like on a lawn unless they're looking for, you know, like mice or, you know, bunnies, any of our small critters. I know it's sad, but it's nature. All right, so let's go in with these. And we do have some other colors to break this up. If this does look too washed out though, which is a possibility, then I might end up using it for something else. So we'll see. It kind of looks golden right now. We'll see if that changes though. I know, I was dying. Like I was messaging with my customer she's in Oregon, and she is in like the desert. So she's got like a ton of wildlife. And I was like, I'm going to send you this video, but I need to like mute it first. And she was like, oh no, like we swear here. And I'm like, only if you're sure. Because I mean, I scream like a nut. Like my neighbors, nobody even flinches at this point when I yell, because I just get like spooked by the unexpected. All right, so this is going out. So I'm going to have this large peony bloom more facing inward. Okay, this is like filling up so quick. I mean, you could practically like almost call it. Like sometimes it just does not take a lot to fill up a wreath. You know, you don't have to drain your supplies to design something. But I did pop the head off of this, so I just want to fix that real quick. Michelle, have you had any cool wildlife going on? I feel like you always do. You're so blessed with like all the deer. Yeah, hawks are so amazing to watch. Like we have in Massachusetts the Topsfield Fair, and they often do like a demo where, you know, like they have the trainers, and you get to see just how huge the wingspans are on these birds. I mean, it's incredible. So I was in awe of it. I just wasn't prepared. Yeah, I keep seeing videos of like these dogs that bring home. One brought home a hippo. It must have lived on a zoo, because it brought home a hippo. It brought home a giraffe. I'm processing this now. Okay, yeah, it's not just a random dog somewhere. Okay, the dog must live at a zoo with somebody, because it kept coming back with baby animals. But there are dogs that like they bring home deer, baby cows, like all babies, like a fox. And I'm like, mine are just underachievers. Just the deer, I would take the deer. We almost never see them, and I don't exactly know why, except I just feel like there's just so much building that's always happening, and I think it's disruptive. And they're also very quiet. Like we have fisher cats that, if you haven't heard a fisher cat before, they sound like a screaming baby. It's actually like, it's a tad bit disturbing if you don't know what it is. Like, I mean, in town, like people have like called the police because they don't know what's happening. Like they think somebody's hurt, but it's a fisher cat. And we have the turkeys that like to go up, and they sleep on our trees way up, which I always think is funny. And like we love to sit on the back porch at night, you know, and just you kind of got like the white lights, and it's just like relaxing. You get the fire pit up there and all that stuff. And I just remember one year there were like frogs mating, and my stepson, I mean, he was a young teenager, and it was just so obvious that they were mating, and I was like, this is so, I never knew frogs could make me so uncomfortable, but they did. Yeah, does anybody else have like some cool wildlife? I always think it's interesting, because there was somebody on our street, they had a baby bear at one point. And of course, everything's caught on like our Ring cameras. So like that's how I was able to catch me acting like a crazy person about the hawk. But yeah, they had a little baby bear. And if you're from this area and you ever go up to, oh my goodness, what's it called? It's the resort. Oh my goodness. Oh, Mount Washington. They always have like a time where the baby bears, they just wander. And so it's like, and they wander up on the veranda where guests are, but like obviously you can't feed baby animals, even though you would want. I know it's tempting, but then they don't have survival skills and all that stuff. So I'm like, I don't ever want to see one because I know I would want to feed it, but I won't. And it would just make me sad. But yes, the bears there are not shy at all. All right, so I'm just breaking this up a little bit just so it's kind of serving the purpose. Like I wanted it to end with this, but the spacing wasn't quite right. So like whenever you're working with materials, you want to get the most out of them. So like if something isn't, serving its purpose, then you want to cut it up and you want to manipulate it so that it is. Yeah, we do sometimes, but we don't have moose here. I know there are parts of New Hampshire that they do. Somebody I went to high school with, she posts videos, like they go right up to her. Speaking of wild animals, I'm guessing my husband's home from work. Yes, the moose come like right up to her slider door, and they are huge. Like I know that they're huge, but like you don't realize just how like huge they are. So there, and then up in the mountains there's, I guess if you go out kind of like, if you're strategic about it, you might be able to catch one. Alright, so let's see. I'm not going to use everything just for the sake of using it. So I'm going to put these guys to the side. I'm going to start using this. I'm like super intrigued by this, okay? So it is a pusher. It says it's flocked. It's a different type of flocking though. Like I guess maybe I need to look into if flocking just means like a coating, because typically when I think of flocking, I think of it's like snow dusted. So this is flocked, but it's just a very rich, kind of like olivey color. And this is a, what does it say, fishtail? It is a, yeah, fishtail fern bush. Oh, and actually, we still have all of those other florals. Let me backtrack a little bit and break some of this up before we put our greenery in, because this greenery is gonna like, it's gonna be flowing, it's gonna have a lot of movement to it. So I don't wanna put it in too early and then have it kind of get lost in the shuffle. All right, so let's see. I love this because it's kind of got like a little bit of like coral to orange to maroon in it. And then we have our hydrangea that are yellow. So whenever breaking down a bush like this, I like to just make a pile, just so I know exactly how much I have of what. You know, the more you work with, the same distributors, you learn it, but this is a new product to me, and so I want to make sure that I don't put too much of a particular thing in one area and then it's lopsided. So I'm just going to cut all of this up. Bernie, did you get that out of your system? You're barking. So we have 4 dogs, and Bernadette is, we would call her a poor man's Parson Terrier. So that's the closest thing she is. She and Steve are, and also a dog, are from Alabama, and then we have our 2 shepherds. But for Parson Terriers, their job is to go down the foxholes. So they like to dig, they like to bark. Like that's just what that's what's in their DNA. So she definitely does those things. She loves to dig, even though we have turf. So you'd think it's not that easy, but she figures it out. She loves to dig and she loves to bark. All right, and I'm just pulling, let me see. I'm pulling the leaves off of this. It's not that there's anything wrong with the foliage. It's just not exactly like the color combo I'm looking for. So, I mean, people do different things. Some people save the leaves and then they use it for, you know, putting along the back of your wreath. I use moss on the back of mine, but like we all have our, you know, our tricks that we like to use. I always think that when it comes to being creative, it's like a lot of us can get to the same place, but we find the most like random ways to get there. So like me using moss on the back of a wreath is not that common, I don't think. I think it's kind of like a random thing that I fell into, and it's just what I feel confident in, so that I don't worry about scratching somebody's door. But a lot of people design in a way that you don't have to worry about like the stems going through the back of your wreath anyways. There is a lot on this one floral bush. And again, this takes out the guesswork because it's got different types of eucalyptus. So it's got it in kind of like this stage versus, I don't even know how to define like what stage it is, but they're both eucalyptus, but they're different. And then we've got some flowers that are more coral, some that are golden. I think the yellow is going to do a great job of just breaking this up. All right, so we have 5, 4. See, this is why it's good to like get the count out. And then we have 5, 6 of this. Okay. So now we know how we're going to like distribute it throughout. So let's start. Sorry for the slurping. I realized I was that close to the bottom of my drink. Let's see. Just trying to think. I don't want it to be like too close in color to other things and just kind of get lost. This is kind of golden. So I'm going to go in with this corally Cabbage rose. Oh, and that actually, it plays off of this very nicely. It plays off of both because it just does have like that bit of, that one especially, just has that burgundy kind of towards the middle. It's actually the, let's see, okay, go back to these. So we did that up here, so now I'm going to go down here, and it kind of like builds a roadmap. Like I think about it in patterns. So sometimes if you're not sure where to go, I almost like look up here and say, okay, well, what flower is it near? So up here, it's in front of like the giant golden peony. So down here, I did the same thing. Okay, and that's also why I like to use like the bigger florals first, because then we fill it in with the smaller ones. So we're gonna go top corner for this one, making sure it's not getting too lost in our maple leaves. And then for down here, even though this is top corner, all right, I can go over here. I just don't want to like completely lose it. It's too pretty to just kind of like get left behind. All right. And now we're going to go in with our more golden peony blooms, and let's see, let's start right here. I tend to like starting in the top corner. You know, when we think about muscle memory, like the more we do something, just the less we have to process and like think ahead of what we're doing. It comes more naturally, comes like more easily. And so I've just found that starting in that one place, regardless of if it's a crescent wreath or a full wreath, it just kind of goes It comes to me more easily. I have an odd number of these. I'm going to put one right above our bow. And it's not always going to be perfect symmetry. I mean, it's nice when it is, but our bow is going to, obviously, it's going to throw things off. And I really don't want to waste product by just throwing it under here when I know it's not going to be seen. So let me find a different spot for it. Do this one here. And I think that Fishtail Fern and these golden hydrangea are going to like really separate it, because I know right now, oops, it looks, it's looking a bit monochromatic. All right, so again, starting in the top corner, so in between my florals, that nice pop of yellow. It's also got a little bit of our green with our eucalyptus. And now I'm gonna go below. And again, see, like, so the pattern is we have this big maroon peony, and then we have this more orangey peony, and then in between it is our golden flower. So I'm gonna do the same thing down here. I'm gonna just map it out and say, okay, well, that looks good up there. So that's what I'm going to do down here. And it just breaks up the flowers so we can kind of like see and process everything. If things are like too squished, or, you know, there's not a lot of like breakup in texture and all that stuff, there's just not as much for us to process. You know, if you think about, you know, if you go to a museum, certain things just like you stand there and you really like have to think about what you're looking at and like look at it in different angles and things like that. And that's kind of the difference, I think, between manufactured wreaths versus handmade. Is manufactured, it's kind of like, it's very quick to process what you're looking at, versus, you know, having like unexpected textures and colors and techniques and all of those things. So that's why I think it's important to buy handcrafted, not just because I do it, but there's just such a quality difference. Like, I love buying a real janky looking manufactured wreath and then taking it apart to like put it together properly and, you know, include like better materials. I actually have a few that I've been waiting to take apart and reassemble. So stay tuned for that, because that does always give me quite the chuckle. All right, so we have a need in this corner. Let's see. Give it a sec to catch up. Sometimes what I'm looking at just is not exactly the same, so I'm not designing like head on. Okay, so I'm going to pull some of these back. And let's see. I'm actually going to snip some of this and put it here under our bow. It is going to be seen, and it's also going to keep our bow propped up. We don't want our bow to be where you can see like that bare grapevine underneath. We want it to have the appearance that it's like in the middle of, you know, this big floral display. So I'm gonna steal some spots that aren't going to take away from the overall look. want it to like respectfully nuzzle the bow. I don't want it to smush our bow. All right, now we're gonna go in with our Fishtail Fern. Hey Sonia, how are you? I really want to know the answer to that thing you sent with the woman's hair, if she knew if it was a pet. Because if it's not, there's a problem there. A big, big problem. All right, so we're going to start in the top corner. Excited to use this type of greenery. This is a first, and it's absolutely going to break this up, and it's not super like vibrant and summery. It's still got that like deeper hue, which ties in perfectly with our ribbon. And keeps the rest of our florals kind of grounded. So I always like to have something just cascading off. So we kind of have it like heavier here and then it dissipates. Again, like thinking of what a crescent moon, like how that shape goes. Repeat down below. Top. I definitely like this greenery. This is a great greenery. Let me give you the SKU number so that you don't have to wait if you don't want to. Yeah, if there's anything that you wanted to shop for tonight and want the SKU number, let me know, because then you can use the promo code CAR15, save 15%, and that way, like, you know it's not going to get sold out. Because I have had this kit for like less than a week, but it also means that the materials have been like out and for sale. So if there's something that you really, really want, I would say grab it while you can. And I know that gives like us, like our crafting, hoarding anxiety. Like I'm like that with ribbon all the time. But when things are gone and they're gone, it's like, it's a little hard to accept. Here. See again, it's like right next to here. Break that up. All right, then we have a second bush. We're not going to need all of this. I do think I want to take like maybe 2 pieces of it though, just to get a little bit of height on top. Loving the ribbons. I know that is Farrisilk too, so it's beautiful. It doesn't remind you of like wallpaper and like that classic. It's kind of like chinoiserie, but it's not. You know, I know it's a different pattern, but it has that classical feel that like is never gonna go out of style. So I'm gonna do one up top, do one below. Like when you kind of have your wreath recipe, like you have a sense of like what your direction is, because I didn't know what was going to be in the box. I'm not saying I might not like zhuzh some things up when I like looking at it like straight on, because there's a good chance, you know, like when you go to photograph things, all of a sudden you realize like something seems a little off. So tweaks can always be made like after the fact. But in general, when you know what your recipe is, like you already have like that guide. So this is super cool. It was your 8th grade graduation dress. I love it. I remember my semi-formal dress. It was a look. I love it. All right, so let's see. These are Roselle sprays. Let me make sure I'm saying the right thing now. And I've actually been eyeing these on the website like many times because I love to do things with like the artificial like fruits and things. And so this has just like caught my eye so many times. And now I get to work with it. So perfect for the fall season when we're thinking about like cornucopias, the harvest, like all of those things. So I do not want to put these in a spot that they're going to kind of get lost. So I'm going to put these in a prominent position, and then I'm going to spread them out. Okay, because again, everything's malleable. Let me pull the foliage off, I mean. But yeah, I want to make sure that they're getting noticed. That. Let's give it a little bend. And then I'm going to repeat. I'm going to grab the second one. So I will definitely be grabbing more of this. This stuff is like so beautiful. And it's also very hardy. Like I think it would do well outdoors. Can't say that with all like textures, but this is like very nice quality. Very, very nice. So I'm going to give this a bend. I know we're a little crowded down here. Give this a bend. And then again, I'm going to spread everything out. Don't want to get lost. Okay. And then we're going to have 2 more pieces of this. And I mean, you could totally take the foliage here too and like use these extra branches for things. I think for fall, I'm just like steering a little bit clear of this like bright greenery. But this would also work perfect for summer. Like if you're thinking about like blackberries and like those types of fruits, it would work really well. These are all, yes, these are all TCT Crafts. You can save the 15% with promo code CAR15. I always feel like I use car salesman, but I also feel like if I don't tell you and you don't get the coupon, I would be like so miffed. Because I use the coupon myself. So, yep, you can save 15% off your whole order. And then they also have free shipping over a certain amount. I don't know if it's 100 or 150. I don't exactly know. I should know so I can give you guys the correct information. But yes, their product is top tier. Melissa has just impeccable taste. I mean, if you aren't following her on YouTube or on any of the places, she is just like got a master eye for things. So the fact that she gets to shop and we get to kind of like reap the benefits of that gift that she has is just like amazing. Like I'm always excited. This box, I mean, I really love. Like I love all of these tones. So let me just look. Hold on real quick. Move a few things around. That's why sometimes you don't want to glue in the bow until like the end, because as you're building around it, like things might kind of, the landscape might change a little bit. And again, we don't want our bow kind of getting like swallowed up with everything, so. It's good to have it on a pick and then not to glue until you know it's in the right spot. And a little fluffing. Put one more of these here. Oh, I like that. We'll take that and parrot it below. Put it more on the, towards the inside of the wreath. That way it's just not getting lost. And now we zhuzh. So zhuzhing is just like, you know, you've done the work, but like something a little bit needs to be tweaked. And that's when the zhuzhing comes in. So it's like small adjustments, like that little sprinkle on top to make it just the way you want it. And it's like what I love to do at workshops. Like all these people, they do like amazing work, and if something just doesn't seem like 100% right, I'm like, I will zhuzh for you. So you've done the work though. Like they have done the work. I'm just there to like give a little bit of support. Love that, ladies. I'm excited. I have a couple of those like large peony heads left over. I can tell I'm going to be fiddling with this. Sometimes it's not until it's like on my front door being photographed that like I finally like get everything. There's been many times where it's like I think I'm all done. I go to do a listing. I bring it up like stairs to take a photo, and then I'm like, oh, something's off, you know? Something when you take pictures of things, like when your brain processes it back. Whatever. There's something that has to do with like mirroring, and so you see an image differently. So like if there's something about a design that I know doesn't look right, but I can't figure it out, usually I will take a photograph of it, and it jumps out like a lot more clearly than when I was just like trying to look at it. All right, guys, so here is our design. Thank you very much to Melissa from TCT Crafts. We have some leftover goodies, so I'm excited to continue to work with these. For anybody that is looking to shop at TCT Crafts tonight, you can use promo code KARA15. If you are interested in the Fern, the SKU number was 13626GN. And if you are interested in, let's see, the Peony, the Cabbage Rose Bush, because there's a lot there. That was FB1954A9. All right, but if you have any other questions, like specifically, just let me know. I'm so glad you like it, Missy Renee. She sure ain't shy. Yeah, the designs are not shy. Not at all. All right, guys. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me on such short notice. Thank you, Leslie. It's always nice to see you guys pop in, especially, again, when I give you no notice. But I do love when you guys keep me company. So thank you so much. I'm going to be going live I'm going to try and go live tomorrow and Friday because next week is Wreath Makers Live. So I'm going to be in Texas from Tuesday through Sunday. So I want to be able to like hang out with you guys a bit before then. So, all right, I will see you guys later. And I hope you guys have a great night. Yep. Promo code Cara15, tctcrafts.com. And she's got even more goodies than this. So I'm excited to hop on her website because I will be grabbing some of these. There's a few things. I don't want to show my hand because I don't want them to get scooped up too quick. All right, guys. See you later.